When I tell you that something I have been grappling with deeply, and this has been a really challenging last 6 months for me, in the perspective that what I've been grappling with has been not wanting to be on social media, honestly, not wanting to be seen, but also wanting to be seen, wanting to build, wanting to create, wanting to have that it thing about me that I know thrives at times. I'm learning that it's not about being 100% consistent in the exact thing that you want to build or create, but it's about allowing there to be so much trust and faith in God, in Source, in Spirit, in what it is that you're doing, that no matter what season you're in, whether it's a season of showing up super big and bold or a season of going inward, that you know that there's a purpose behind it. And this has been, like I said, something I've been really struggling with, because when I feel that need to just be quiet, to go inward, to journal more, to meditate more, to sit with my body, I will feel this level of anxiety that just ruminates in the background of life, because I feel sometimes as if I'm not doing, I'm not succeeding. But that couldn't be further from the truth. And the reason I bring this up is because I think we all have this knowing deep within that what we're doing in this moment may seem small, but it's actually big. I think we all know that. I think we've all listened to enough podcasts, we've read enough books, we're just connected with the right women in enough ways to know that what I'm doing right now, whether it's on social media, whether it's out in the public or out in the world to see, or if it's me sitting quietly on my meditation pillow at 5 a.m. in the morning underneath my red light, it matters. It all matters. And I always find it, I like to think of things in this term sometimes, where it's like, if I was to write a book, would I be writing a book about how anxious I am running around trying to get a million things done because I feel insignificant? No, I wouldn't be able to write the book, because I'm never allowing myself to get out of my own comfort zone for long enough, be a little quiet, get a little in my feels, feel the gunk that's coming up, so that way I can be somebody that says, I made it through. I made it through this, I made it out of this, and here's how. And I think when we grapple with ourselves, when we grapple with our need to perform and our need to create and our need to do all these things, and we don't actually get to know who we are in the quiet corners of our worlds, we're never giving ourselves the chance to even be the author of our own book. Essentially, we're just reacting to everybody else. We're just reacting to what we're seeing on social media and all the stimulation and all the conversations that we're having in our friend groups and all the activities that we're doing. We're never actually going, what is right for me? I see this in my clients all the time, where I watch them really embody that period of isolation. And you'll hear a lot of pastors and preachers and sermons. I'm so sorry if I did not use that term right, but you'll listen to a lot of sermons speak about this, seasons of isolation. And isolation isn't necessarily meaning that you don't have people in the world that you're connected to, or you just are, F everybody. I know that's a big one. Like, go silent, like surprise them all. Like, how about you do it for you? How about it's not about having a winter arc and coming out and being this like super aggressive and like perfectly put together and perfectly manicured and performing highest version of yourself, but it's actually just the version of you that loves you the most. It's the version of you that's just actually so comfortable with who you are, whether you're alone or in a crowd, that it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You're really just so in love with who you are that you're at peace. And we talk about leveling up and we talk about evolving, and we're always infiltrated with being the next best version of who you are. But what about the version of who you are right now? Yeah, it's going to be me versus me, or yourself versus yourself, and don't be a little bitch. But what if it's just you actually being really okay with who you are? And that's where the strength comes. That's where the strength of not being bothered by what people have to say about you, or you being able to build a business and succeed and thrive in what you choose to do because you took the time to be so okay with yourself. What if you are so emotionally intelligent and so emotionally aware that when you have children or with your children, they can act out and have all these emotions, and you can teach them what it's like to be so okay with who you are that nothing can really impact you? That's teaching strength. I feel like so often we just need a comeback story. But for what reason? We don't need trauma to succeed. That's another thing that I see on a lot of people. I see a lot of people needing to search for traumas or recreate chaos in order to feel significant. No, you don't. You don't need that. Actually, what you need is to just sit still for a minute. Do some self-reflecting. You can't pick up a journal? There's a reason for that. You can't pick up a book and read more than a chapter? Stop blaming it on your ADHD. It's a choice that you're making. I have ADHD, trust me. You can't use that excuse with me. The reason that I'm saying all of this, I know when I'm being hard on myself. I know when I'm grappling with things and I'm going through seasons where maybe I'm struggling to sit with myself. But the thing is that it's so important that we don't emphasize enough is being aware of it. Are you aware of the fact that you're grappling with yourself? Are you aware of the fact that maybe you are struggling to slow down? Or are you just continuing to roll with the punches, have the same patterns and cycles, choose the same shitty relationships, and then cry about it? I will always hold a woman who is in pain and needs the space, especially to be seen. But what frustrates me most is when I meet a woman who wants to talk about her pains, but does not want to talk about a solution. Or wants to talk about a solution, but does not want to actually do the work. I get it. We all have our own cycles, and we have our own times where we will be ready to acknowledge certain depths of our mind, of our psyche, of our body. There can be really serious traumas that we can endure that can take years to unpack. Trust me, I understand. But what I want to say for you today is before you feel like you're gonna showcase or create a life without acknowledging any of the inner workings of who you are, and you keep running and running and running, you got to take a moment to just connect. Take one 10-minute break. Take a deep breath. Sit still with the mind. Watch it. Watch the thoughts come up and then watch them float away on a cloud. Watch them do their very best to consistently override and get you to move. Just be the observer. Take one step at a time. And if you start today, tomorrow will look different, whether you can see it or not. And if you start today, next week is really going to start to feel different. And if you start today, a month from now, you're going to be like, holy shit, I didn't even know I could feel this calm. So sure, you can do your winter arc. You can go offline. You can shut the world out. You can go into your, what you consider a season of isolation, or you can make your isolation about God, about your relationship with yourself, about the way that you're going to learn to love you, the boundaries you're going to set with yourself. I don't want to hear about what boundaries you're setting with other people. What are the boundaries that you're setting with yourself? And when I say what boundary are you setting with yourself, I am talking about the boundary of not being on your phone as soon as you wake up in the morning. You feral animal. We all do it. But that's a boundary. I feel like there's always a misconception with that. So what are you choosing for yourself right now? What are you going to choose for yourself right now? Are you going to keep doing things the way that you've been doing them? And I'm not here to preach about being the best version of yourself. I'm here to talk to you about why it's important to be in touch with the softest version of yourself. Because being in touch with the softest version of yourself is also being in touch with the strongest version of yourself and the most holy version of yourself. And in return, it ends up being the best version of yourself without the fight, without the aggression, without the need to hate parts of who you are and try this diet and work yourself to death in this way and make this much money. I promise you there's a different path. Well, that's all I've got for you today. This little baby rant. I hope that your 2025 is so amazing. I hope that this message came across to you and sits in your heart in so many ways that not even I could have imagined. There are so many blessings that come from tapping in and trusting. Go and pick up a Bible, go to church. Go call your friend that you know is the one that makes the best decisions. And talk about how you can be in touch and in tune with the softest version of yourself. I'm sending you all my love. Namaste. Tell you that something I have been, when I tell